right, establishing connection, and I think we're good. What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Mythos Cushionata from the channel Frost and Fist, and welcome to another live Wolfbrother Wednesday. I'm so glad to be able to do this Wolfbrother Wednesday live, and this isn't even planned. I mentioned a couple of Wolfbrother Wednesdays ago that every once in a while, when it's late in the month or early in the month, that I might have to just spend a lot of time working late, and I might miss a couple of Wolfbrother Wednesdays that way. But this month, instead of letting my working late interfere with the channel, well, since I couldn't get to it yesterday and put it up by this morning, I just decided to go ahead and squeeze it in on a Wednesday, doing it live. So saving some time and still getting in that Wolfbrother Wednesday. So, before I go into my portion of the show, first thing first, I would like to give a couple of shout outs. Shout outs to my brother Steve over at Who Took My Dice Miniature Wargaming. Great guy, I love to shout him out all the time. And he just recently hit 100 subs. What is up, Thomas? What is up, Kuja and Kiwi? He just hit 100 subs. I'm so excited for him. This guy has supported Frost and Fist since we were such a fledgling channel and has been a great friend to us this entire time. And I'm so proud to see him hit 100 subs. This guy has been, hardcore handling work, school, and trying to keep up a YouTube channel with that busy life and, a house full of kids. And he's handling it all. And he's making his YouTube channel work, hitting that 100 subs. So real proud of you, man. Congrats. Steve mains Ultramarines and some Space Wolves, so he definitely has some Wolfbrother love from my end. Also, congrats to my friends over at Wargamer Online. They just hit $3,000, and they've been around for just a few months, and they're already at $3,000. So really stoked to see my friends. I called it at the beginning of the year. I was like, these guys, they're going to hit $10,000 by the end of the year, and they're already at $3,000 just a couple of months in. I have no doubt that they're just going to keep catching on like wildfire and just keep going and going and going. These guys will one day, let me call it now, these guys will be bigger than mini wargaming, So I just feel like they have that very polished, very professional appeal. They've got great chemistry. I mean, they do all the things I like about mini wargaming, but I mean, in my opinion, even slightly better. I'm praying for you, Roxas. No wipe on Palace of the Dead. I need to get back on my monk so I could join you guys. Congrats to Steve. Congrats to Wargamer Online. And with that, we're going to go into my hobby update for this week. This week, I'm so stoked to say that I finished the Dark Angels, the Praetor Tribune, and the Legion Primus Medicaid. Wait, that's pregnancy insurance. The Legion Primus Medicaid. And I'm really stoked with how those models look. I'm definitely going to have a showcase out for them this weekend. And thank you, Shroud, my man. And I'm really stoked with how they came out. I was honestly intimidated by the Medicaid because there's so many little delicate fiddly bits on it. So many little details that going to require some time and attention. And I wasn't confident in my ability to make all those little details pop. But I put some time and attention into it, and I really love the way the model came out looking. And you know what? Even though it's got all those extra details on it, now that I've put the time and attention into it, those little details really do make it stand out so much better. So I love how both of the models look, but I'm really proud of that. Now, resin being resin, still giving me trouble as always. You know how it does to the Wolfbrother. The Medicaid has a very thin barrel connecting the nozzle of the gun to the body of the gun, and actually that's why this commission has taken so long in the first place, because I ruined the first gun, had to send off to England to get another copy of the model again, and that same little tiny piece holding the barrel. Hey there, Richard, my sexy nerd life brother. That same little fiddly piece ended up warping again on me, just very slightly. Ended up with a slight curvature to the gun barrel. But aside from that one minor thing, I think that the needle gun and all, I think the model came out looking pretty awesome. I can't wait till you guys see the showcase for those models this weekend. And then that's been pretty much my hobby. I've got the Inquisitor Greyfax all assembled and ready to go on my workstation for Shroud. And tonight she's going to get some primer on her, maybe even a touch of some base coat. So I'm really excited there. So I've got that upcoming. I've got a couple of weeks where I'm going to work on some of my own stuff, including an unboxing I'm going to be showing you guys of something that's coming up project for the Silver Moon Wolves. And then when 8th edition drops, I get the honor to work on some Minotaurs. If you saw Shroud's video on 8th edition goals, you can go check that out, also on our channel. Shroud's going to have me working on some Minotaurs, and I have always wanted to work on Minotaurs. In fact, there was a while there, if you saw some of our early Frost and Fist episodes, people had asked if I could pick a secondary army. I was thinking about Minotaurs for the longest time just because I wanted to paint up that color scheme, the bronze with some black and red. I really like that color scheme. I like their we don't take no crap from other Space Marines, we're not afraid to go punch another Space Marine in the face attitude. I kind of like that. And the fact that their Primarch looks like frickin' Leonidas, I am so down with that. Joey, my man, welcome to the chat. Joey is one of the strongest tournament players in our group over at our local store, so honored to have him in the chat. And so Minotaurs, super stoked to work on those. That'll be coming up, and I'll be doing that. That'll be a whole Primaris force. And, in addition to some Custodes, in addition to some Inquisition and some Assassins, Shroud's going to have a whole little High Lords force going on. It's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm really excited to work on those. Plus, not only am I honored because I've always wanted to work on Minotaurs before, but on the cool also, doing this commission is also going to help a Wolfbrother out because I'm looking to get my own Dark Imperium box set as well. So, got to have some cash for the cause, you know what I'm saying? So, with that is what's coming up on my workbench, and I'm really excited to get some stuff done. Now, I've only got a couple questions for the Wolfbrother Wednesday, because, of course, last week, the Q&A I did live, and so there wasn't a whole lot of questions, but I would really like to answer some questions that some of my other friends have on their Q&A shows. So I'm going to start off with Pete from Mini Warzone. And Mini Warzone Pete says, do you prefer to live in the country and the wilderness, or in the city? Well, if I could cheat and throw in a third option, I am really a suburban kind of guy myself. I like hanging on the outskirts of a city. I like having a nice open yard. I like having some trees around. But I also like to be in a close enough range to be able to go hit up a store when I need to, get down to my local gaming club, go hit up all the spots for the stuff I need without being too far away. Now, that being said, that wasn't really one of the options. It was either in the country or in the city. If I had to pick between the two, I would rather be in the country because I have a goal. One day I want to be out in the country. I want to have a dog. I want to have room for my kids to run around. Oh, and the dog that I want, I really want to get a shepherd and name it Commander so I can have a Commander Shepherd. And I want a female dog, so it'll be FemShep. Joey asks, who has been reading the new rules? I've putting lists together all day. Honestly, because I've just been swamped with work the last couple days, I haven't read any of the leaked rules. So I may read some of the leaked rules later on, or I may just wait until the whole thing drops. But I've definitely seen that a bunch of our friends have been putting together lists all day. I know that Brother Zai has definitely posted in the little group chat. He's already got his 2,000 point and 1,850 point list ready to go. Excited for the new stuff myself. I really want to see something on, faction focused Space Wolves, GW, hook a brother up. I really want to see it. So back to Pete's question, if I had to pick wilderness or city, I think I'd like to be out in the wild. Have space for a dog, have space for the kids to run around. Here in Texas, of course, being out in the wild means that I'll have to watch the kids because we have all kinds of snakes, water moccasins, and stuff like that could get at the kids. We'll have to keep an eye on them, but in general, I would definitely like to get out in the country sometime. Kuja over at the channel Kuja and Kiwi says, what are your expectations on Motarian? I'll be honest with you, I am not a big Chaos fan, so I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on Motarian, but I can say that just on what I saw from Magnus, it's probably going to be an impressive model. You know, he's probably going to be huge like Magnus, having accepted some demonic powers. He's probably going to have some really big wings. I'm going to imagine, you know, some of the decayed, you know, decayed like old vampire-y looking wings with holes in them, I'm assuming. But I expect he'll have some big badass wings, you know, to go with his big badass scythe and complete the whole Reaper kind of feel. But yeah, I'll be disappointed if he doesn't have a badass Reaper hood to go with, you know, the whole get up. But I think, you know, his demon form will look pretty awesome. Again, I'm not into Chaos, but I could definitely respect the Reaper appeal. Kiwi says, on their channel, would we like to see a tour of their flat where they make the magic happen? And of course, I am not talking about what goes on in the bedroom. I am talking about what goes on at their hobby stations. And absolutely, I'd like to see what goes on in their flat. You know, I know they've recently rearranged their hobby areas to maximize their hobby power and very intelligently keep their coffee station right there on their hobby station so they can keep all those creative juices going as they work on their hobby life. So that's pretty cool. Next up is the channel The Nerd Life. My man Richard here in the chat. My awesome bro and his wife, of course, have an every Monday Q&A, although this week it was on a Tuesday. Kristen asks what to do with the kids on their channel for challenges this summer. So I think I heard one of your kiddos say a Bean Boozled challenge, and I've seen a few of those. I think those are pretty fun challenges, because someone always gets stuck with the good ones and someone always gets stuck with the bad ones. My kids got it one time. I'm afraid to play Bean Boozled with them because I roll a lot of ones in life, and I'm pretty sure I would end up with the bad ones. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing that, Kuja. Also, in addition to the Bean Boozled challenge, Krista, I think what a really cool one that would be fun to do with the kids is an ice cream challenge video. You know, get all the little kiddaroos blindfolded up, get a few different flavors of ice creams, and even some crazy or outlandish flavors of ice cream. And, you know, let them have a taste test, see if they can guess especially the crazier flavors. I think that'd be cool. I saw Rosanna Pansino do something like that, and it just seems like some good, you know, clean fun for the kids to have. And on top of that, they get to cool off on a hot day, so I think that'd be pretty awesome to see as well. Richard over on the same channel, The Nerd Life. Man, first of all, guys, if you haven't checked out The Nerd Life, go check out my bro and show him some love and some HBO, because The Nerd Life, also another close friend of the channel, Kuj and Kiwi, close friends of the channel. You know, I love these guys. These guys are, you know, great channels and really good people to me. Go check out their channels. But Richard over at The Nerd Life says, what is your ultimate getaway? And I'm going to go slightly unconventional here. You know, instead of just mentioning a weekend in Vegas or a beach trip or, you know, some times out in the woods, mine is going to be less location-centric and more content-centric. So me, I'm a social creature, you know, and being a social creature, I think what kind of good time I'm having is directly proportionate to who I'm spending it with. Having some close friends around, people I can really, you know, be social with, you know, have some laughs, have some fun with, you know, people that are my bros, people I feel very bonded to, some bros, my beautiful wife, my awesome brothers. You know, these are people that I really, really would love to spend some time with. And it doesn't matter where we're at. I mean, you could pick any dream vacation spot. You know, we go take a trip to a beach house and all hang for the weekend. You know, that to me is going to be an ultimate getaway, spending time with my favorite people at that beach house. Same thing when we go to Acon. I mean, exception of this year because we're broke, but when we go to Acon every year, my favorite thing is, number one, all the sexy cosplays I see. But just beyond that, my other favorite thing is, of course, the fact that I'm spending time with all of my favorite people. We always make a big deal about it's not just us who, me and one other person or something like that that goes up to ACON. It's me and about 20 of us that goes up to ACON every year. My bros, my sisters, my favorite people in the world. We're all up there to hang out and have a good time. And you can tell I get so disappointed when even one person has to drop out for that trip that year, just because I'm selfish and I want to have everyone around and as many people as possible of people I like hanging out with during those vacations. So it could be a beach house, it could be a crowded place like Acon, it could be a cabin in the woods. Underdog painting, what is up, Baza? Baza, my man, long time no see. Good to see you, my brother. So yeah, that's kind of an unconventional answer, but they say that home is where the heart is, and I feel like my ultimate vacation answer is kind of the same way. Definitely, I think getting some vacation time in with you, my brother, as well, would also be a good option, Richard. I think we all need to do one great big, bam kind of hangout. I think that'd be awesome. So Joey asks, "What do you like best about hobbying? Is it painting, uh, kit bashing, basing?" I think I do like doing conversions because I like putting my own personal spin on them. But lately, I've really, really gotten to enjoying the painting the most. In fact, lately it seems like assembling is kind of sometimes just an obstacle for me to be able to get to painting. I really enjoy painting far more than I do assembling of any kind. I also like doing basing a lot. I like putting that because I feel like you could have the exact same painted model as someone else. That uh, even if you have the exact same painted model, you're going to add so much more to that. For instance, when I did shrouds, them all looking the same there with the same kind of quality paint job and their same brick bases. I don't know. It just adds that sense of, I don't know, completion and cohesiveness together. So I like looking at that. I'd like to at some point on an army do a wooden floor basing, and probably for my Age of Sigmar army, and yeah, I think the wooden floor for the my Age of Sigmar army is also going to be again something that'll tie it all together and really set it apart. But yeah, I would say definitely painting first, basing second, and kit bashing / assembling third. Great question, Joey. Underdog painting. Basil wants to know, what would I want to do for 8th edition, or am I just sticking with the wolves? Well, I'm the wolf brother, my man, and I have that deep love for my wolves, and that's really all I'm interested in playing at the moment. And I will talk about that a little more in depth as I go into the heart of the episode, which will be my 8th edition goals. Thomas, my man Child says, "What are your expectations on 8th?" I have some, we've got some videos coming up on this, but I have some reservations because it seems like shooting is going to be very strong. I know there's potential for assault to be very strong as well. So even though I have my reservations, I'm not, I'm talking a lot of noise now just because I'm voicing concerns when I'm talking to my friends. I'm not really that concerned though. I really actually have a good feeling about 8th. I'm talking noise just to be talking noise in most cases. But as much as as I complain about how strong the shooting is, and it is kind of a real concern for me, I have some real hope because they have said that they're going to let Malay armies be viable again. I've seen some serious strength in what I'm seeing on orcs so far, on what I'm seeing for Tyranids so far, and I'm really hoping that as we go into 8th, there'll be some of that balance there, and my wolves will be pretty awesome too. So, great question, Thomas, my man. What would make me change my army? Well, that's a good question, my man, because which that was a question from Bazo, by the way, and I really don't know because I've picked my army based on what I like in their lore, what I like in their aesthetic, and the fact that I've loved not just space wolves but wolves in general growing up my entire life. So they've always had some kind of influence on me. In fact, I've done fan writing for a while, and I've even written for a couple of different writers guilds, and I've almost always signed my author's signature at the end of most short stories and stuff that I've submitted with some kind of canine writing, like Mythos the Silver Fox, Mythos the Silver Wolf. When I was 19, I got into amateur wrestling for a little while, and my stage name was the Shadow Wolf. Um, and before that, it was the Shadow Fox. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just being part of that canine theme has kind of been with me ever since I was a kid and all throughout my teenage years. And now as an adult, I think I'm always going to be the Wolfbrother. I don't think anything's going to make me ever change an army. I might expand out and pick up some different armies, but I think my main army will always be the wolves. All right. That brings me to Shroud's question. And Shroud did a video asking for response videos. And he says, what are your 8th edition goals? And we talked a little bit earlier. Thank you, Baza. So we talked a little bit earlier that Shroud said that his 8th edition goals were doing a High Lord army with his Minotaurs, with his Custodes, with some Inquisition and Assassins, and that's a very cool themed army. And he tagged me and Freak and asked what our 8th edition goals are. And I'm really excited for 8th edition myself. But then he also said that we should, at the end of our answer, each tag 2 more people for their 8th edition goals. So, my 8th edition goals is I'm just going to be more of the same wolf, but with some expanded versatility. And what I mean by that is, first off, I do want the new Dark Imperium box set. Those Primaris Marines look awesome. You know, I definitely want some of those Intercessors, I want some of those Hellblasters, I want some of those Inceptors. I am really super stoked about the Inceptors because Wolves traditionally have had the worst jump pack units, just because they have the lowest, or the lowered weapon skill, ballistic skill, and you know, I feel most of the time they're just vulnerable out to being shot to pieces in just under normal circumstances. But these new Inceptors being able to drop down and deep strike, each of them having the twin linked, or not twin linked, but the twin heavy bolters that they can just, you know, go all equilibrium and gun kata on somebody. You know, I think that's super cool. And if you've watched the channel for a while now and watched some of the battle reports, I always take land speeders with double heavy bolters because I love their ability to just rip through infantry and really provide a nuisance to different areas on your opponent's battle line. And I think having a whole squad of guys that can do that, and of course everybody gets, you know, split fire now, I mean, that is just going to be a lot of infantry shredding power. And of course, they're with the, you know, the jump packs, of course they're going to be able to move around, jump and take objectives and stuff like that. Of course, the deep strike will let them, you know, I could possibly get close to an objective, I could possibly get close enough to really shred through some infantry. They're going to have some great positioning capability. I think those Interceptors are going to fill that weak spot in my army with the jump pack units, and I think that's going to just give me a really awesome strength where I had a weak spot before. I'm also, of course, looking to take that knight that my main man Richard over at the Nerd Life so graciously supplied for me, you know, because we already saw the stats for an Imperial Knight, and I think having the rapid fire battle cannon, you know, giving me some cover fire is going to be awesome. I think having the straight 6 damage from the chainsword, you know, anything I get close enough to my with my knight, it's going to do some serious damage cutting through some stuff. I'm excited to see the knight in action, and honestly, I've wanted a knight for a while now, just for some balance, because almost literally every person in my store other than Freak has a knight right now. And so to feel some of that balance, I've wanted a knight for a while. But now that I've got, you know, I've got my hands on my own, I've seen the stat line for the 8th edition. You know, the pieces I've gotten from Richard have just been really exciting. Every new weapon I get, you know, I recently got the little wolf head option from Shapeways. I'm really excited about all these things. I'll be able to add my own wolfy flavor and spin on them. And so soon, my own Silver Moon Wolf Knight will enter the battlefield, and that's going to be cool. And then, of course, that's going to give me some covering fire for my melee action. Also, for some of that cover fire, I want to bring. We saw recently the stats for the new Predator tank. Steve, what is up, my brother? Haven't seen you and Freak together in a while, or at least haven't. What's the crack with that? Well, we just recorded this previous Friday an 8th edition chat, and we had one a couple of weeks before that, but you're absolutely right. We are able to record together less frequently than we would like to, just because of our crazy work schedules right now. But we are definitely working on trying to sync up a little more often. Steve from over at Who Took My Dice says that I'm a sexy beast. You're a sexy beast, sir. So we recently saw the stat lines for the Predator, and the Predator looks powerful now, yes, but if you've seen the channel for a while, I've always liked Predators. In fact, for the longest time, I was stealing my son's Chaos Predator just to get some DACA action. Don't worry, Baza. It's not like the parents splitting up. There's going to be plenty of me and Freak together in the channel. We're doing our own thing, when we can, and we don't get a chance to hang out on the channel. But definitely, every time that we do get a chance to hang on the channel, we will be filming together. But yeah, I've always liked Predators. I've used my son's DACA Predator for a while, even though it's Chaos. I want to get my own. One, so I can wolf it up and put my Silver Moon twist on it, but also because I want to be able to just magnetize the crap out of it. I want to have the twin link las cannon option and las cannon sponsons. I want to have the las cannon option. I want to get the DACA options. The heavy bolter, the assault cannons. I want to be able to choose whether I want some pew pews or some DACA. Either way, I think, though, that those new stats, they're going to be tough beasts to kill, and I think they're just going to be laying down some mass firepower, especially with the changes to the way that Twin Link works. I mean, just having 4 las cannons, on this mobile platform that's super heavily armored, just laying down fire, that's going to be super cool. And can you think about how a Spartan assault tank is going to be? It's got 4 las cannons on each side. That's going to be crazy. Yeah, I need to pick one up as well, Steve. Steve says he loves the new Predator stats, very powerful, and he may need to rebuild his. I need to pick one up. I've been borrowing my son's for the longest time, and I definitely am thinking about getting a Spartan as well. Baza says, I've got a lot for my flesh tears, and I want a Titan for sure. Titans are awesome, and speaking of Titans and Knights, that brings me to another thing I really want is I want some more dreads. Okay, so I've always loved my old faithful Ogren the Iron Fist, my Dreadnought with the Twin Link las cannon and Fire Claw, and he served me very well, but seeing that what beasts Dreadnoughts are going to be going into the new edition, I definitely want more of them. I want the Axe and Shield Dreadnought. I'm going to want a Levy at some point. I'm going to want a Murder Fang, a Bjorn. I'm going to want all these Dreadnoughts. And Sam actually put out an idea that he has running an all Dreadnought army that he said he has had a lot of enjoyment playing. And I think, just the way that I have a love for Dreadnoughts and the way they look and how killy they're going to be now on top of that. I mean, I loved Dreadnoughts before they were this awesome. But I think they're going to be, an all-Dread army is going to be even more viable now. And I also have a Belisarius Call that I can put together to make my machines even more powerful. So, I don't know. I think with all these buffs going around to the Dreads and the fact that I like the way that they look, I'm actually thinking about 8th edition being the edition I put together as a side army, an all-Dread army. Whoa, Kiwi. I don't need to know you guys just broke the bed. That's too much information, Kiwi. Jeez. Gosh, you're my sister. Jeez. Can't be thinking about that kind of stuff. Oh, an all-Dread army won a major tournament last year. That's awesome news, Steve. He also says that Dreads are dead killy now and can't wait to see what Bjorn will bring to the Wolves. That's awesome. Also, wait, if you guys just broke the bed during my show, does that mean that my show brings a certain amorous quality? Am I like the new Barry White? Or maybe the new Marvin Gaye's getting on that sexual healing. Anyways, don't don't rely on my voice for romance. That's for sure. But yeah, those are my eighth edition. So on one hand, uh, on one hand, Steve just said that, of course, my show would do that because I'm a sexy beast. But Boz, on the other hand, goes, Mythos is a contraception. That's so wrong, my man. Or maybe so right. One of the two, I'm sure. All right, so yeah, those are my 8th edition goals, guys. And, with that, I think that I'm still going to be the same wolf on the inside. I'm going to be what I've always wanted from this army. I want to be space wolves. I want to be super melee heavy. I want to charge across the field with my cavalry, with my wolf, and I just want to punch something in the face. I really do. Because that's all I've ever wanted from the Space Wolves. That's why I chose the Space Wolves to begin with. And I've been accused by many people before saying that I'm a cheesy Space Wolf player because I liked my cavalry so much. But honestly, that's all I've ever wanted from the Wolves. That's why I specifically picked this army, is because I wanted the feeling of charging across the table and punching someone in the face. So that is what my army's still going to be at the core. In fact, I'm probably going to run the Outrider detachment most of the times, just so that way I can, get my cavalry into action and fly across the table and hit something. But even though I'm going to stay the same army at the core, you guys can see I plan on adding a whole lot more versatility into the way that the melee core part of my army is supported. With the dreads, with the predators, with all that stuff, because there's a lot of new toys out there, honestly, and I'm excited to catch them all like Pokemon. With that, I wanted to take these Primaris Marines and put my Silver Moon spin on them. And I've been tweaking my Silver Moon look to my Space Wolves for a while now, and I definitely want to put on all my Primaris guys and all my new Grey Hunters and Blood Claws, these Puppets War shoulder pads, Iron Wolf shoulder pads, which is basically a wolf head shoulder pad that I finally have selected the bits I want to use for my custom Silver Moon look, and I want to go with those shoulder pads. I think they'll look awesome and perfect for my story, and the Spellcrow wolf head helms, because I think they look awesome. I actually got in these bits to convert up like 60 soldiers apiece already, and I'm going to have to reorder them again because my camera bag has come up missing, and I had taken all these bits to do an unboxing of and review of the Spellcrow and Puppets War parts, and the whole camera bag is missing now. So, that's like, I don't know, $100 worth of conversion bits from Spellcrow and Puppets War that I had ready to take my summer project and upgrade my Silver Moon Wolves, and they are just gone now. And that's really disappointing, especially since it's going to take me, these are countries in Poland, I want to say, and so it's going to take me over a month to get new bits in. By that point, the new Primaris Marines will already be out, and I'm going to be behind getting these new Marines out. But I want to bring them my wolf, that same wolfy flavor that I want, my Silver Moon custom theme. So I'm probably going to wait to actually finish building them and painting them until I get the new bits in. Hopefully the camera bag turns up at some point and I'll get my conversion bits in. But until then, I guess I'll just have to order some more. So with that being, of course, my 8th edition goals, of course, Shroud asked that we each tag 2 more people. And so since you guys are awesome and in the chat, I'm going to cheat, first of all. Kuja, my man, I know you've got multiple armies, and so it'll be really interesting to hear what your 8th edition goals are. Baza, my man, I'm interested in hearing your 8th edition goals, especially since I think you're just now going to be learning the game, right, coming into 8th edition, which is supposed to be easier for newer players to learn. And I know you've been painting for many, many years. You're a complete pro. But it'll definitely be awesome to see you getting into the game. And the sexy beast, Steve, over at Who Took My Dice. you definitely have some a ton of Ultramarines and Space Wolves, and I'm interested to see what your 8th edition goals. So I'm going to pass on to you three, and I would like to see if you guys would honor us and here at the Frost and Fist with a response video telling us about your 8th edition goals. Well, guys, thank you so much for being in the chat today. Does anyone have any questions before we call it a night here at the Frost and Fists? Rainbow Kubo says, we were cuddling. All right. What you got, Kiwi? Well, I mean, and then this is where I am a real pro because I totally don't let silent points lapse in my episode, of course, and just spend my time staring away from the screen. All right, guys, thank you so much. When will we see a video of the Wolfbrother sword fighting? Well, that's a good question. Because I have to book time with opponent, someone to carry the camera, and I have to get these rickety legs of mine working. So we'll have to see about that. Your Wolfbrother's been something of a crip lately. Been hard for him to get around, walk, stuff lately. But as soon as my legs are in good health, I will make sure to crank out a video for you. I've always wanted to do a sword fighting video, so I think that'll actually be really fun to do. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, thank you so much for joining in the chat tonight. Guys, if you liked this episode, then grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. And, of course, drop some comments down below letting me know what you thought of this week's Wolfbrother Wednesday. And, of course, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, then, of course, Shroud, Freak, and I would love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fist. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.